machines can do much more to unleash human potential. Pure possibility. Omron.
Mitsui and Company.
Man, look at all these cars.
Hey, have you heard, by the way, the Japanese company Kobelco is working to make the world's cars lighter.
So what does that mean?
Kobelco is using aluminum and steel technologies to make car parts and bodies lighter around the world.
Ah, Japanese technology. The country of karate. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Why do we always do that?
I don't know.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Denizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from a studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are topics for today.
In Dreamweavers, a one-of-a-kind welding company that glues together the Japanese manufacturing industry.
From World Business Satellite, popular Japanese photo sticker vending machines put their print on overseas market.
Also from World Business Satellite, strategies to deal with a looming hotel room shortage in urban areas.
And from Takumi, factories where people and robots work side by side. And so let's get started. First up is Dreamweavers, in which introduce one-of-a-kind technology and techniques of Japan's small and mid-sized companies.
Yes, now today we'll be continuing with our report on Tokyo Electrobeam, which is a company that specializes in precision welding.
Well, to recap, this Tosei Electrobeam uses electron beam and laser welding technology, and it's considered by many Japanese top manufacturers as a crucial partner in their development project. But I know that their business wasn't always easy.
Yes, you're right. And shortly after the company was set up, customers who accounted for half its revenue began purchasing their own equipment and doing welding in-house. So that meant a significant loss of orders.
Well, losing half of their revenue stream, well, how were they able to overcome this crisis?
Well, even as they struggled to deal with the fallout, the company continued to think about how to improve customer satisfaction. And they decided to provide technical assistance and know-how even to companies that were no longer their active clients.
But that would mean no more orders, right?
Exactly. But they also spared no effort to improve their own welding technologies. And by doing that, they were able to maintain their relationships with their long-time customers who did their own welding for mass-market products and would come to Tosei Electrobeam for their prototypes.
So by continuing to put their customer first, they were able to build up trust.
Exactly. And the company has gained a reputation as a place big manufacturers go to whenever they have a welding problem they can't solve. And we find out how they managed to overcome the many challenges that along the way. So take a look.
In the autumn of 2013, a certain experiment was carried out. A test of a device to launch a copper plate at a speed of 2 kilometers a second. For what purpose? It was to be loaded onto the small asteroid explorer Hayabusa 2. The device required an unprecedented welding method. Taking on that challenge was Tosei Electrobeam. It uses a specialized welding method that relies on electron beams and lasers. Although a small company with just 61 employees, it has been called on by manufacturers of F1 racing cars and aircraft to handle complex welding work. Founded 38 years ago, the company has focused on a niche field. Because of that, business has been rough going with many sleepless nights.
If sales really dropped by half, we'd be in deep trouble.
But every time it faced such a crisis, the company charged ahead, fueled by a passion for perfection.
We're absolutely in love with it. It's a technology that the world absolutely needs. We want to realize our dream, somehow.
Mizuho Machi in Tokyo's Nishi-Tama-gun. This is where specialized welding company Tosei Electrobeam is headquartered. Their strength is electron beam and laser welding. They have 61 employees and generate annual revenue of 750 million yen. Visiting the company is copywriter Konosuke Kamitani. Mr. Kamitani has been asked to come up with a marketing slogan for the company after his tour. Meeting him is the founder and chairman, Tamotsu Ueno.
Hello, I've been really looking forward to this.
He's taken to the company's electron beam welding site. Electron beam welding is a technique to connect materials by applying high-energy electrons. It allows different types of metal that typically won't stick together to be easily connected. The process begins by first setting the materials to be connected inside a special device. It's sealed shut to create a vacuum, and the rest is left in the hands of a programmed machine.
That was quick.
So, how does it look? The two pieces are perfectly connected. This doesn't require the hands of craftsmen typical of such small factories. But it is still a job that demands deep knowledge of metals and vast experience. Tosei Electrobeam plays a role in aerospace development today, but the company has faced numerous struggles since its founding. In the 1970s, Mr. Ueno was working at a car maker when he first learned about electron beam welding, a technique rare in Japan at the time. He was captivated. At 37, he decided he would build a company like no other. But
I discussed it with my wife. We had 2 children. She didn't care if my monthly paycheck was meager. She begged me not to quit. That's only natural. Electron beam welding wouldn't mean anything to most people. It was a niche technology. But I wanted to do it. I was determined to succeed no matter what. So I begged my wife to let me realize my dream and finally convince her.
setting up the company in 1977, he started from scratch. The 80s came, and he continued to run the business on a small scale. But then a turning point. A customer who the company relied on for half of its revenue purchased equipment to handle welding in-house and canceled orders.
They told us they would be doing it themselves from the following month and wouldn't be putting in orders anymore. It was a bolt from the blue. I think I must have turned pale. If sales really dropped by half, we'd be in deep trouble.
A big reason was that customers could simply buy the equipment and do the welding themselves. So Mr. Ueno started thinking the company needed to enhance its technology and be able to do work that no one else could.
I put my livelihood on the line to do this work, so I was determined to do anything to get back on my feet. So how could I get back on my feet? I had only myself to criticize, not my customers.
So he slowly began redirecting the business to be able to address any and all demands of customers. And now, the company is taking on a new challenge, selling welding equipment under its own brand. This is a portable laser emitter. It can remove rust from metal in an instant. They plan to market it to the factories of food makers and others where hygiene is a top priority.
3,500 companies are our customers in Japan alone. That's interesting. It really is an interesting business model. Something you won't find anywhere else in the world.
Next, Mr. Kamitani meets with Rie Yamaguchi, who is in charge of managing external orders and the company website. For small companies like this, PR is crucial work. Every day they struggle to find ways to promote a business that most people in the world are unfamiliar with.
It's a very difficult field. So we mix easy-to-understand words with specialized terminology of the industry.
On her desk are notes she's written to help her better understand the technology of electron beam welding. After talking with the employees one by one, Mr. Kamitani appears to have come up with an idea.
Rather than talk about what they want to do as a company, each employee seems to have his or her own policy and opinion, as well as direction in terms of a career. They're more expressionist than technicians. This is a factory where they solve all kinds of problems. That's the impression I get.
1 week later, we visited his office. So what kind of marketing copy has he come up with?
The fun of technology that is welding. There probably won't be any other technology to come out and replace it. So because of that, the technology of welding, I think, is acquiring greater depth. Work to weld the present to the future. I was really drawn to the opportunity to see things I've never seen before.
He's come up with many different ideas. This is his marketing copy for Tosei Electrobeam. Work to weld the present to the future. Question. Take the word impossible, remove the negative, and weld the remaining letters together. The requests our company receives are always such difficult problems. With electron beam welding and laser welding at the center, we attach, cut, open, and carve. This is the cutting edge of Japan's exquisite metal processing technologies. And our solution, rather than being technology, is our expression. Do you have an impossible problem you need solved? We will provide the best expression in the world that anyone can think of. Surgeons of Metal.
Work to weld the present to the future. This is amazing. It's a great slogan. It means we're surgeons. Amazing.
As a whole, I feel it's fantastic. That's my feeling. Surgeon isn't a word that you would typically come up with.
It's expressed in a phrase that's perfect in terms of length. I hope I'll be able to acquire that sort of deep emotion soon. It's no longer just a technology. It's art. We don't just stick things together. To a certain extent, we need to focus on the external appearance and beauty. For someone like me, who thinks about those aspects, these words are absolutely perfect. The surgeons of metal. Customers often come to us with problems. In a sense, it's no different from surgery. We need to continue growing and become recognized as a company that can do exactly what our marketing copy says.
The sport truck. New Mitsubishi Triton.
Drive at Earth Mitsubishi Motors.
Oryx is driving business in Asia through leases, investments, real estate development, energy businesses, and more. Making business more dynamic and fast-paced than ever. Oryx.
Nikko, one of Japan's leading tourist destinations. Here, you will be charmed by nature's bounty and will enjoy the beautiful scenery. You will also experience Japanese history at World Heritage temples and shrines. Nikko and Kinugawa, as well as the historic hot springs, are charming. Asakusa is easily accessible from the airport. It takes 2 hours from Asakusa to reach Nikko and Kinugawa via the Spacea Limited Express. Let's go to Nikko!
Next, we have a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. Otsuka-san, what's the topic?
Yes, today we'll be looking at photo sticker vending machines that came out in 1995 and it was all the rage among Japanese girls.
Wow, hard to believe that it's been 20 years. I remember taking pictures and exchanging those stickers with my friends.
Yes, I remember it was the thing to do.
Right.
But in 1997, sales exceeded 100 billion yen and the market has shrunk since then, but still it's worth around 26 billion yen as of 2013.
So they're not as big as before, but considering that the sticker costs about 400 yen, there's still good demand.
Yes, and you could say it's part of a Japanese pop culture, and so its popularity among foreign tourists suggests that there could be strong demand even outside of Japan. So take a look.
Shibuya, Tokyo. In the center of Japanese youth culture, a certain place has become surprisingly popular among tourists from overseas. A game arcade. These two women are checking out a photo sticker printing machine. While struggling with the instructions, they appear to be enjoying their first time using it. About 20% of visitors to this establishment are non-Japanese. These photo sticker printing machines are said to be a major draw in addition to games.
These machines were invented in Japan and developed into popular culture. So many overseas tourists get pictures taken as a souvenir of their trip to Japan.
These machines are now crossing the ocean. This is the Japan Society in New York that works to promote Japanese culture.
There it is, a photo sticker vending machine. It says Puri Booth. There are several pictures. I wonder what types you can make.
This booth was set up here on a trial basis by Furyu, the biggest manufacturer of photo sticker vending machines, as it eyes an expansion into the U.S. market.
It's finished. The background has a Japanese motif and might appeal to Americans.
There are photo booths in the U.S. for ID photos, but none are said to have the functions of a photo sticker vending machine, such as directly altering images.
It makes the pictures more perfect in some ways, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, it does that. It's like an automatic Photoshop or something. Yeah.
We look prettier than we are.
These machines were first introduced in 1995 and became a massive hit, primarily among high school girls.
I stick them on notebooks. I exchange them with new friends.
20 years since then, how have they evolved? The Ikspiari shopping mall, adjacent to Tokyo Disney Resort. In one section,
That's the past. We don't do that now because you can send pictures to your phone. This year is the 20th anniversary of the birth of photo sticker vending machines. I was a university student at the time. They say we can try out the latest machine here.
Called Shirayuki or Snow White, this is the newest machine launched in mid-July.
This will give you a beautiful Snow White complexion. Let me see if I can become Snow White too. This is what they call a cavity pose. 3, 2, 1.
The latest machine has evolved significantly, offering an experience incomparable to that of past versions.
I'm starting to look more and more like a monster. My jawline protrudes quite a bit. But it's gone now.
The face can be made to appear wider, the eyes bigger, and the legs longer. Users can tweak images according to their preferences to produce what's referred to as a miracle picture. Being brought in is a prototype for the US market. It's about half the size of the Japanese version. What differences are there with the software?
The finish is natural. Is the aim not to change the image too much?
Yes, people outside of Japan aren't used to having the shape of their face change that much. They prefer something more natural.
Company president Yoshiro Tasaka says photo sticker vending machines are sure to win customers around the world.
Women around the world love photo sticker vending machines. I'm sure they'll be overjoyed. I believe that as long as there are women, there's demand anywhere in the world.
Late in the afternoon, high school girls start arriving at company headquarters.
We ask that you please not disclose anything you learn about the company today, any information you see or hear.
There's a reason for the strict secrecy. They are testers for the latest software currently under development.
It's too natural looking. I want a smaller and sharper face. You mean you look like the regular you? It's a photo machine, so I want it to dress up the image more and more.
Transforming one's appearance through these machines is called moru, meaning to dress up. They are trying to decide how much to dress up the images.
It should make you look pretty without changing you too much, halfway between the real you and somebody completely different.
The development team working on creating that miracle picture is based in Kyoto. Our cameras were allowed inside the facility for the first time.
We're going to transfer this image to the computer and start the editing and adjusting work.
The company's strength is its image recognition and editing technology.
We've had the technology to make the eyes bigger, but not one to make the pupils bigger. This exaggerates the ridge of the nose.
Eye and pupil sizes, and even the ridge of the nose. They are attempting to get as close as possible to the ideals pursued by high school girls to mass-produce miracle pictures. Other companies are also eyeing opportunities in the printed picture market. Being made on this production line and never before shown on television.
Instant film called Cheki. There are 10 films inside.
In an age when digital is king, Fujifilm has scored a big hit with its instant film cameras called Cheki that allow pictures to be taken and printed out on the spot.
We're in the process of making products for China. It says Cheki, and on the back, the instructions are all in Chinese.
These devices are gaining fans not only in China and South Korea, but also Europe and the US. Sales have continued to grow. Last year, nearly 4 million units were sold around the world.
We're making these around the clock now. We just set up a new production line and are quickly building up capacity.
This is a large photo exhibition that tours the country. While demand for film is shrinking with the spread of smartphones, the photo business has continued to grow, accounting for 10% of revenues.
Everybody has about 500 photos each in their smartphones. If we can offer services with new value, then the demand for printed pictures can still continue growing.
Printed pictures, which lost their luster with the rise of digital devices, are back in the spotlight again.
Potenza.
Let's go look for Mitsubishi Electric around the world. Singapore. Found it. Jakarta. Yeah! Tokyo. New Zealand. Kuala Lumpur. Mitsubishi Electric. Let's go skiing. That's wonderful.
Icicle. Next time.
Wonderful.
Great. Excellent.
Smiles ahead. Save group.
Well, Utsuda-san, what's next?
Yes, next we'll be looking at the shortage of hotel rooms in Japanese cities.
Well, I've heard it's becoming a serious problem, especially in city areas like Osaka and Tokyo. And what's the reason behind it?
Well, the first reason is the sharp rise in inbound tourists. And if you can take a look over here, we're on track to reach 17 million for the full year in 2015.
Well, the Japanese government was targeting 20 million annually by 2020, but I believe they have revised that up to 30 million.
Yes, that's right. And it's not just the rise in overseas tourists that's causing the hotel room shortage. And one other factor is that more Japanese are choosing to travel domestically rather than going abroad because of the weakening yen.
Well, I know that the new hotels are opening up one after another ahead of 2020 Tokyo Olympics and Paralympic Games, but that's not keeping pace with demand.
Apparently it isn't. And according to one research firm, the occupancy rate of Tokyo and Osaka area hotels stand at around 90%. And typically when the occupancy rate exceeds 85%, many hotels are said to be stretched thin in terms of workers, which leads to a drop in service quality.
So that means that there's possibility that guests won't be able to experience the hospitality that Japan's known for.
Exactly. And this shortage applies not only to high-end hotels, but also to more economical business-type hotels. And we have a report on how the problem is being dealt with, so take a look.
It's quite difficult to get a room. The only room they had was one with a double bed, so my friend and I had to sleep in one bed together.
Travelers unable to get a hotel room in Tokyo and Osaka. With the sharp rise in overseas tourists, hotels in major cities are crowded. At this hotel,
We're from Shanghai. This hotel is unique and has a hot spring bath, so we reserved a room here.
this family has booked a room for 4 consecutive nights. They say they made the reservation more than 2 months before.
Booking a room is difficult during the tourism months of July and August, and the Bon holidays.
The growth in overseas tourists has been especially noticeable in Osaka. Located in the city are Kansai International Airport, Japan's biggest hub for international low-cost carrier flights, and Universal Studios Japan, a major destination for tourists from across Asia. The hotel shortage is becoming a serious problem.
The only solution is to make reservations early. Travelers from overseas book rooms months in advance, and for a long period. So the trend is unmistakably becoming the faster, the better.
A dearth of hotel rooms. Amid this, a new facility opened on August 1st this year.
Welcome to the Parkfront Hotel at Universal Studios Japan.
This is an official hotel of USJ, operated by Tokyu Group. For the first 2 months after the opening, they say they will limit reservations to domestic customers. The hotel's concept is traveling through America. The entrance from USJ is made to project the atmosphere of the park's hometown of Los Angeles.
From the 4th to the 28th floors, we have a total of 598 guest rooms.
The concept here is New York in the 1980s. It is a family-type room. On the top floor is the suite, designed to resemble a futuristic America. The main draw is the 3-meter-wide pool bath, from where guests have a bird's-eye view of the park. There's also a restaurant with a Hawaii theme that seats 500 people. The hotel has a total capacity of 1,662. And service staff of 150.
We're carrying out training for the opening. Veteran staff members of Tokyu hotels nationwide will assist us so we can ride out the launch.
While massive investments are being made to build new hotels, there are buildings such as this, located between residential and commercial districts. Built in 1964, it has been renovated into a lodging facility called Hostel Rokuyon Osaka.
This was built as a company building with living quarters for employees, offices, and a warehouse. It was then converted into an inn.
Inside,
we changed the office space into the front desk and lobby area, as well as a cafe. We also removed the boards that used to cover the ceiling and made it into an open design, so the ceiling is higher.
And what about the guest rooms? This is a Western-style room that used to be a kitchen space for employees living in the building.
That's right. There's a courtyard. So you pull this down to block the view.
As the walls separating the rooms are thin, earplugs are provided together with towels. And through a low entranceway, similar to that of tea rooms, is a shower area. This is said to be a big hit among overseas guests. This facility opened 5 years ago. They spent just 6 months on renovations designed with foreign guests in mind. They say a more detailed overhaul would have cost hundreds of millions of yen. However,
it was 30 million yen for the entire building.
They decided to bank on the oldness of the building and did a low-cost renovation instead. The reputation among overseas guests grew by word of mouth, and from 2 years ago, the occupancy rate has been consistently high.
If you want to run a hotel, building something from scratch is a lot of trouble. By utilizing old properties, you can do it in a short time with a small investment.
Sasayama, Hyogo Prefecture. This city once flourished as a castle town, and there are many old residences from the Edo period still standing today. Takeshi Fujiwara of Note, a company specializing in renovating old homes, wants to turn the residences here into hotels, but faces a certain problem.
What's difficult in renovating old homes is securing funding. Properties like these have zero market value, so you can't take out a mortgage.
So the company turned to the Tourism Revitalization Mother Fund, set up last year. It offers financial assistance to inns, hotels, producers of specialties, and others involved in tourism and local revitalization, so that they can carry out renovations to attract foreign tourists and expand business. They showed us a hotel that will be completed soon.
This is a well. From a profit perspective, it would be better to remove it and use the space. But this way, it's enjoyable for the guests.
A well in a guest room. What's more, a bathtub from the Edo period that barely fits one person has been fixed up. By keeping intact structures that are unlikely to be built again, they say they can offer added value and attract tourists. This facility will open in October as a luxury hotel with expected average customer spending of 30,000 yen.
Investors look closely at profitability. So that means they recognize the value of these old home hotels. Historical structures like these can be found across the country, so we can promote investment and renewal.
As more tourists from overseas arrive in Japan, various initiatives are moving ahead to address the growing demand for hotels.
Let's paint a vision, your imagination. It started moving round the world. Dream car. Let's paint a vision, your imagination. It started moving round the world. From a sketch on a piece of paper, come together now. Dream car.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tokyo Skytree. Be awestruck by the panoramic view. There are so many other fun things to do after you've enjoyed the view. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go, let's enjoy. This is Tokyo Skytree.
We do our jobs with sincerity and integrity to make a better living environment for the people and our society. Today's work, tomorrow's heritage. Shimizu Corporation.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next we'll bring a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK.
Takumi literally means artisan in Japanese, and it's a word often used to describe craftsmen with exceptional skills.
So who's our Takumi today?
Yes, this time we'll be introducing a futuristic factory, and if you can take a look over here.
Wow, it's obviously a robot.
It is, and it's a humanoid to be exact.
Oh. So like a person, you can determine if it's doing the work properly.
Exactly, and this time we go inside a factory where such humanoids are working side by side with humans, so take a look.
I'm buying bread that costs 123 yen. I'll pay for it using this 1,000 yen bill. The bill is inserted here. And the change is exactly 877 yen. This machine gives you the change, and it's connected to a cash register. It's very useful, don't you think? Hi, Michelle. Today, I'm not going to introduce the person who made this change machine, but I'm going to introduce you to a Takumi or innovator who organized the production line of this machine using a humanoid robot. This is the factory where the humanoid robots are in action. It is a company that develops and manufactures money-handling machines and systems. Hello, I'm Michelle Yamamoto. Nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm Tobita.
Today's Takumi is Akio Tobita. He's said to be a magician with humanoid robots. So this is the humanoid robot?
That's right. The robot itself is made by another company. We bought it and customized the hand part from the wrist on down. So it's capable of doing complicated assembly tasks.
A name is written on the chest.
Yes. We added a country flag and named each robot after the country's currency.
It gives them a friendlier feel. Not only does each robot have a different name, each one is equipped with a different set of hands. Tobita and his team created more than 90 types of hands to meet a variety of needs. This is a special hand that took 2 months to develop. It was made for a specific task. It's made to strip the paper off the adhesive tape, a task that's not easy even for humans. The solution was to make the nail part out of resin and program it to emulate the peeling movement of a human. This enables the robot to expertly peel the paper off. Tobita first saw the humanoid robot at an industrial robot exhibition in 2009.
I instinctively knew that we could use this robot at our company. I noticed that the robot was compact and could work in the same amount of space as a person.
Tobita developed these skillful hand parts and attached them to the compact robot.
There's something I want to show you.
Yes.
This is it.
Whoa! This is a sight that I've never seen before. A robot is working alongside a person.
That's right.
Until now, industrial robots were mainly used to repeat simple tasks at high speed. Tobita's factory managed many complex operations that industrial robots weren't able to handle. However, Tobita believed that by equipping the robots with sophisticated hand parts, they could be incorporated into the assembly line. But the complicated movements raised an issue.
It's slower than a standard industrial robot. To improve work efficiency, both the right and left hands needed to move simultaneously. That's where I had the hardest time.
The humanoid robots are assembling the part where the coins are inserted. It is made up of around 60 parts. Let me show you live from the spot how the robots collaborate to make a device. Let's go! Our first runner-up is Mademoiselle Franck. She is working on some rubber bands. And there she goes. She takes the rubber band and holds it tight with both hands, and there she places it right on the device. And there she goes. She hands it over to the next player. Each robot takes about 5 minutes to complete their task. They skillfully attach their piece to the unit that is passed to them. And our last robot up is Mr. Rubel. Okay, let's ask him how he feels working here. Mr. Rubel, how is it working here?
Well, it's lots of fun working here.
And that's probably what he would say. And our last player is over here, a human. So after a long line of robots, now we have a human being finishing up. And she's giving the final touches to the device. Let's ask her how she feels working with robots. What is it like to work with robots?
At first, I was a bit apprehensive, but now we are good partners.
It takes about 30 minutes to complete one unit. By incorporating humanoid robots, production can go on through the night, and this has improved the company's production rate. Tobita is thinking of developing the robots further.
I wanted to use the experience that I've acquired over the years and create things that will amaze people. The challenge for me is to keep producing new innovations and also improve what I've already made.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so don't forget to tune in next week.